What I mentioned before, we have this weird thing that this thing will automatically turn on and off if you're going to be plugging in the power supply. They're giving you an external switch. So they're using all kinds of old parts. We have seen these mini PC things, and you know, I was really wondering, like, what are we getting with this? Is this the same, let's say, cheap old crap shenanigans, or is this going to be something different? But let's press start, and in here we're finding the main menu where we can mess around with all kinds of configuration in combination with the controller and Bluetooth settings. But for now we're going to be checking out the system settings, information, and the reason why is very simple: to see what's inside of this thing. So it comes indeed with a 500GB hard drive, or at least like 405 gigs. And system usage, you can see everything is still, and we do have like a little bit of room left here, so I'm guessing we can maybe even update it if you want to. Model number is called Skybay. And what is interesting, this thing runs on a CPU called the Intel Celeron CPU 3965U. So that is actually a little bit faster and than a previous model we've reviewed that was really using an old, like a 1000 series. But 45 Celsius of temperature, idle. I don't see any, let's say, active cooling, so there's just purely passive cooling. But that's it. Having OpenGL 3.0, because this is old school tech. But let's get into some gaming and let's see what we're actually getting with this. Mentioned before, like when it comes to, let's say, these systems like Mega Drive, they will run perfectly. I love the way how this actually looks. It's very fancy. The unfortunate part about it, if you have like a lot of games on here, it's going to be quite difficult to search. However, we're having all kinds of different systems like Sega Dreamcast. There's no pictures here, so that's a little bit of a sloppy job. Naomi system does have like some pictures. Neo Geo. So that looks absolutely great. And of course, PlayStation 2 is going to be something I'm going to be testing out. See if we do have like an okay performance in here, because it's going to be quite, like say, challenging for the system, because PlayStation 2 is quite demanding, and the same goes for PlayStation Portable. But we have, like with PlayStation Portable, what I find quite interesting to see, look into, like how the overall performance will be, because with PlayStation Portable we had like these cheaper game boxes, always problems, but this PC can have like a little bit better performance for your money. Well, we're still running on native resolution and having the widescreen hack enabled. This is absolutely awesome to play some Sega Dreamcast on this device. So this is a system that also runs on those cheaper game boxes now. However, the overall performance is slightly better with Batocera and a mini PC. Well, I did see like the S905 X3 chips like really struggle with some Sega Dreamcast games. So far I've tested out. All of the games run without any problem whatsoever. But let's push it to the limit with some Dead Alive 2 through the Sega Naomi system. This is one of those games that doesn't run great, having like 30 FPS per second with even the simple games on, let's say, the S105 X3 chips. But so far we're getting into the game. You can just see we have no problem whatsoever. The D-pad is very responsive. I can do this move without any problem. So when it comes to overall emulation, Sega Dreamcast, that is absolutely great on native resolution. I will not even try to push it to higher resolutions if it's possible, because it will only like have a big problem, or at least that will have a problem with the overall, let's say, frames per second. So I will just leave it as it is. It looks great. And we also got the full 60 FPS that we can actually play. I am on a roll, man. Come on, bring it on. Pa! Let's go. Next one. Oh. Now we're getting more challenging. Now we're going to get my ass whooped. Oh yeah. This is a game I've been playing so much on different systems, including the PlayStation 2 variant. This is so much fun. I'm getting my ass kicked now. And go! But Sega Saturn, if you're going to be looking into some less demanding games, two-dimensional stuff, for example this awesome old school retro game, you can just see that we do have an overall better performance where some of the games are playable. How do I actually drop the bomb? That's how it is. But this is just one of those great examples depending on what kind of game you're going to be playing. So it's going to be a hit or miss what it is to the Sega Saturn. So I'm guessing if you want to play fighting games, stuff like that, that will run okay. So when it comes to Sega Saturn, I was hoping to get an overall good performance here, but you can see it struggles big time with 46 frames per second, 47, and this is not the way how you want to experience those old school games. So this is more on the, let's say, the Die Hard Arcade is a very cool game I've personally never played back in the day, so it's like revisiting something I've never known of. But let's check out a different game. But how about the arcade stuff? So when it comes to arcade, the old school MAME, but also Neo Geo, this will run just fine. And we can have a lot of fun with these old school games. So when it comes to the more demanding stuff, so if you want to play some Tekken MAME, there is going to be having a little bit of a struggling still. And this is simply to do because some of the, let's say, games are quite demanding, like in Tekken Tag MAME version. And we're still using really old tech when it comes to the main board itself. I've been testing it out on many different systems, but most of them, if you're having an old i3, i5, that has like an overall better performance chip-wise. So in that case, we're also going to be having an overall better performance when they're more demanding games. I just get killed like twice. Why does the audio also go like 20 times louder? That would be something that we need to adjust. However, if you're going to get into Dolphin Blue game, so this is a game that runs horrible most of these like game boxes, and particularly the older ones. But you can see that we have like perfect emulation performance with native resolution on this older game box. I think so that are like the significant improvements that we just wanted to see with the old Android game boxes with Emulation. So for the N64 test, we're going to be choosing Cruise in the USA. And this is a simple reason because this is a system, or at least the system with this particular game has so many problems. But getting with this cheap game box, so far, no problems, no stuttering or whatsoever. So we do have great overall emulation performance on native resolution. So playing through, let's say, the GameCube games, so we're having a Soul Calibur that is like demanding, but not like the most demanding game. Just wanted to see what actually we can do with this. So noticed some stutters, but actually when I'm playing through the game, you can see it started to work out a little bit better. And it is indeed playable when it comes to, let's say, this particular game. So it's interesting to see how the overall performance is compared with the Sega Saturn. So GameCube is possible to play, but it also demands what kind of game you actually want to play. So far, Soul Calibur, no problem. Only in the beginning that I didn't record, we had some minor hiccups. But beside that, it's absolutely great. So when it comes to also PlayStation systems, we can play a lot of different systems. However, PlayStation 1 can be played on many game sticks now. So you don't need to spend like quite a lot of money on a mini PC. The annoying thing they keep doing is removing the audio to have a little bit of saved up space, or a lot of saved up space, so we can slap more games on the same kind of storage. Oh man, I hate it, because without the music, there is no soul in the game. But the emulation performance is great, and I think you can even upscale it if you want to with PlayStation 1, but so far I can see it's on native resolution. But let's put this thing to the limit with some PlayStation 2 emulation. So PlayStation 3 is not even here, and it's great that they didn't even add the platform, because it makes no sense putting PlayStation 3 on this. There's like a no-brainer that doesn't run at all. However, PlayStation 2, it's going to be a hit or miss. And you can see that it struggles throughout the game. It runs really slow. Did even notice a lot of screen tearing. But this thing looks, oh man, this runs like 25 frames per second or some kind. No. So PlayStation 2 is just too much for these really old chips they're using inside of these mini PCs. So PlayStation 2 would be another platform they should have just removed. And don't say that it actually has the option to emulate PlayStation 2, because that's just a freaking lie. And yes, you can try your luck with some two-dimensional stuff that we have tried also with Sega Saturn, and you can just see that it runs. Yeah, that's what happens. You know, it's going to be a hit or miss, because some of the three-dimensional stuff is unplayable with this. But if having two-dimensional stuff, there's the option to actually play. So that's kind of cool. So some games will run on PlayStation 2, but the struggles that we had with this cheaper game box and N64 now have the same situation with some more demanding systems like PlayStation 2, Sega Saturn, and etc. PlayStation Portable. So when it comes to that, let's see how it is when it comes to like the settings. OpenGL, 1 times PlayStation Portable resolution. Oh man, frame skipping too. Let's put it to 1, just for fun, to see what happens. And that's it. So everything has been actually like shut down. We can make a quick save here if you want to. But let's get into some old school racing. Oh yeah, this brings back some memories. But what I want to chit chat about is the settings. So I've been messing with it actually when I'm recording this. So we have putting the, let's say, not only the frames per second on, but what we're going to be doing is shutting down all kinds of stuff, including the frame skip. Yep, that has been disabled. So we can run this on full speed now. So when it comes to some Need for Speed, this runs without any problem whatsoever. So yeah, there is with PlayStation Portable, we do have the option to actually play now these games. So that's absolutely awesome. You can always try to do a little bit of scaling if you have like a less demanding game, but so far this is what we're getting. And we do have able the option to play PlayStation Portable now on this cheaper game box.